Stand with your feet hip width apart. There are two poses in yoga. One is the standing pose, which is the foundation for all other standing poses, and one is a seated pose, Dandasana, which is the foundation for all seated poses. And this is the standing one. It's called Tadasana, it's called Samastiti in a different tradition of yoga. There are different ways for it. So lifting different words for it, lifting your toes, just pressing them down. Just slightly move forwards and backwards. We're looking to find the centre. And then just slightly go from one side to the other. And then just reconnect your feet to the earth. Feel that you're pushing the earth away from you. That should slightly lift you. Tense your knees and just let them go. Tense them again and let them go. Feel that someone or you are wrapping the muscles outside to activate those muscles outside, but then having done that, get your hands and almost wrap them inside so that you're activating your muscles inside. You can often switch off there. Very odd, just press your hands into your hips, really press them in, and that should start to lift you up here. Just, again, push your feet away from you and into the ground, and feel that there's a dinosaur called Diplodocus, who knew, and it has a great big long floppy tail that goes plonk onto the ground, and it almost kind of, as your weight plonks your tail onto the ground, it just lifts you again. Put a hand on your tummy, hand on your navel, hand on your chest, and there's a gap between the two. Feel that the two parts are connected with an invisible string, sparkly white light, silver cord, and then release the hands. Lift the shoulders and roll them. Place the shoulders away from the neck. Breathing in, turn the head to the left, and breathing out, turn the head to the right. And now feel that there's a cord running all the way up inside you, up the centre, and it's almost suspending you like a puppet, so that your neck is free, chin is parallel to the ground. And that is perfect alignment. If you had a tendency to come forwards or backwards by doing this with the feet, you should iron that out. Your foot should feel very balanced. At any time you want to reconnect to that, if you're working at your computer and you can't stand up, or if you can stand up, just a simple action of lifting and rolling the shoulders, clasping the hands behind you, stretching out the shoulders because everything comes forward, pressing the feet down. If you're sitting, you can still do this seated. You can turn your head to the left and the right, and that will reorganise your position, your posture for you. So, lifting and rolling the shoulders, breathing in, turning the head to the left, breathing out, turning the head to the right, into the left, and breathing out to the right. Breathing into the left and breathing out to the right. Come back to the centre and think about dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder, but bring the chin in. You can keep it at that, or you can take your right hand optionally and just place it over the left side of the head. Not pressing it down, but very lightly connecting. And you could optionally extend your left hand. Both the hand movements are optional. Breathing in, bring the head to upright, lift and roll the shoulders. Left ear goes towards the left shoulder, and your chin is into your chest, so that you're stretching out the right side of your neck. Both these movements are optional. You can raise your left hand to hold the outside right part of your head, side of your head. That's optional. And opening your arm, but when you open your arm, make sure that it's you imagine someone holding it, that it's pulling you down as it's opening there. And then breathing in, coming up, lift and roll shoulders. Shoulders and neck are very connected, so the very beginning movement is just touching the fingertips to the collarbone. Naturally breathe in as your arms go out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And one more time. The next exercise, keep your fingertips here at the collarbone, is a slightly harder version, and you move as little or as much as you would like, so you can circle the elbows. Ideally, your elbows will meet. Naturally, mine aren't, it's a bit of an effort, so I'm just going to where it suits me. Then very gently circle back. Lift and roll the shoulders. And we did Breath of Fire yesterday. I'm going to do just the upper respiratory immune system booster, because I feel as we come from now until Christmas, there are lots of lovely things floating around. So when you're ready, breathing in. Last one. Just lift and roll shoulders, lift and drop, lift and drop. Just one of the breath exercises is hugely beneficial in boosting your immune system. And then breathing in, circle the arms up. Breathing out, circle the arms down. Breathing in, circle the arms up. Out. So this you find in yoga. You also find it in the Chinese breathwork system, Qigong. Last one. Lift and roll shoulders. Lift and drop, lift and drop. I'm not going to do the next one for very long. It is perfect shoulder and neck movement, shoulder mainly. So breathing in, hands up, clasp and reverse. Breathing out, bring your hands in front of you. Breathing in as you go out. And then come back and lift and roll the shoulders. Just once more. Breathing in, hands up. There are variations on this. Breathing out, hands in front. Breathing in, out. Come back. And then just drop your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. Coming down to the back. Open the arms. This very classic hug. Soften your knees. And then just slightly rock from side to side. And then coming up, open the other way. Depending on the time of night, we're talking about sleep now, that you tend to wake up or you tend to be awake. Every organ is allocated its time in the 24 hours throughout the day, and very commonly lift and roll your shoulders. I think lungs and liver run alongside one another. One's about 3 o'clock in the morning, the other one's about 2 o'clock in the morning, then it switches over. So in the Chinese system, if you wake up at a particular time, and it's often at that time, you can correlate it to an organ, depending on what time you wake up. So this we're going to look at the liver, but I know very much that liver might not be your first port of call. But the liver reflects not just physical detoxification, it reflects mental detoxification as well. So we've done this before, and this detoxifies the right side of the body. So if you are sleeping and you're not able to get your left side up, this exercise will soften down the right side of the body. So just join me when you're ready, bizarre as it is, breathing in, breathing out. In, out, the other side. In, out. In, out, other side. We're just really sweeping out any held up, pent up energy. So these are all very odd sleep things.
Try every once.
If you lose which side you're on, don't worry about it, because I think I might have just gone wrong. And then just sway. So we really have done the shoulders quite comprehensively. Lower abdominal organs, that can be congested, and that would disturb your sleep. Feet hip width apart, and just swirl.
Lots of clicking given.
Yeah. As long as it's not hurting, then that's fine. But sometimes clicking is like popping, and it can release trapped air. But obviously, not hurting, turning the other way, not hurting clicking.
No, not hurting. That's good relief after, actually.
So this is the beginning movements of belly dancing. I thought you wanted to know that. I have a friend who's a yoga teacher who teaches belly dancing, and I've got some of the stuff there, and she keeps threatening to come back. I said, we'll do maybe in the new year, because it is quite fun. Very frivolous. And then just come to standing. And feet closer together. Just this time, massage your knees, front and back. You can maybe circle them one way, and circle them the other way. And then this very familiar as you stand up. One foot out, it doesn't matter which, because we're going to do both. And circle the ankle one way. You're activating your circulation here. And then circle the ankle the other way. And then just put your foot down. Lift your toes up and just spread your toes, and then put the foot down and lift. And just. So as you put your foot down and lift your heel, you're going into opening your lungs. Having made that big statement, that is right.
Yeah, it is right, yeah.
And then just release. So anytime...
It's not only the lungs, it's the whole of the body, because it's stretching the whole of the inside of your, mainly the lungs. It affects because you're stretching the whole of the sole of the foot
Oh,
each
yes,
way,
okay.
so it's all the digestive system and everything as well. Mainly the lungs, because you're putting the pressure on there, but yeah.
It's really interesting. I'm sure I've said that centuries ago, the Chinese warriors assigned to the royal court, when they were injured, the royal physicians would tend to them and then come back to the other foot, lift the heel, and find that if they touched perhaps their feet, their big toe specifically, the injured warriors could feel it in their head, and that's how they started to map out the energy meridians in the body. And Ayurveda follows a very similar principle. They're they're slightly different, of course, but it's the same idea. And in dissections, they realised that the energy meridians run through the connective tissue. So,
Which ties in exactly with what reflexology is, because it's the meridians that you're releasing the pressure point on the foot for the meridian in the body to clear itself to help heal whatever position you're in. Yeah.
Interesting.
so, and then just forwards and backwards. Well, sometimes these little tricks can get into parts of the body that medicine can't, or Western medicine can't. And things like singing bowls and sound baths have a sort of very subtle vibration that resonates through the body, which is why live music has more of a something about it than recorded music. And that vibration can be very healing, because it can access little parts and oscillate parts that, as I said, they find it very difficult in massage or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
to reach.
just to reach. It's just much more subtle, and also the brain as well. And I'm sure you might have seen recordings of people who have various dementias, including Alzheimer's. And although their mind has gone in other areas, the sound can permeate.
That's the case with my cousin. She couldn't speak, but she reacted to music. Yeah.
Well, my mother does. She hasn't spoken for years now, probably. But they put music on and she's singing the words.
Yeah.
Yes. Something very deep in the brain.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
it's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then just come to sway from side to side. And there's also, I'm sure I've said again, a ballerina who has got dementia, and they played her something from one of the classic Tchaikovsky, I don't know, Swan Lake or Nutcracker, or one of the major things. And she started moving her body and dancing. Although she's
That's
walking.
muscle memory, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Well, partially, yes, but it's obviously the connections with the brain. But she's got the muscle memory there, which something triggered it off to let her, yeah.
And it is quite
It's like how we do everything
yes.
without thinking, when you drive, when you
Yeah.
learn
Yes.
to drive, you think, oh God, I'm never going to get the hang of this,
Yeah.
doing this and this.
Isn't it?
But now, now we
You
just,
have to
you
think
don't even
what you
think
have
about
to
it.
do.
So that's all muscle memory, yes.
Yeah.
But obviously connected with the brain as well, so.
So if you want to know what this is doing, you'll find this not only in yoga, but you'll find this in Tai Chi as well. It's moving all 5 energies in the body for general health. In Ayurveda, those energies are Apana, which is the energy of illumination, the foundational energy, going up to Samana at the navel, which is the digestive enzymes, and of course in Chinese medicine, your digestive health is what we call is what governs you. So Apana, Samana, Vyana, which is through the joints and pervasing all the body, Prana, which is the energy of like breath and
talk about energy generative bodies being prana. Well, I missed that udana, that's the upward energy. So people who've got dementia, they're missing their udana energy, it doesn't go up to here, it disconnects here. And again, I've said that's why you've got NHS doctors prescribing speech therapy for people who have Parkinson's, because they recognise it's the energy, but speech therapy only goes to here, you want the energy up here. So humming breathe breath is quite helpful for that. And then just come to, and as I've mentioned, humming breathe breath, you don't have to do this, you just laugh at me, you'll do it at home. You breathe in, and as you breathe out, you hum, and put your hands over your ears, and that sound of the ears is oscillating in the brain. And you just keep on doing it. So that oscillation in the brain is also helpful for hearing and tinnitus. And it's very helpful for energizing the brain, because you can feel a subtle little something in the head afterwards. We'll just do it a couple of times, but doesn't matter how long you hum for. If you're can't be out of tune, you just like it's just carrying on when everyone else has finished and around. 10 minutes later.
Good lung capacity.
You would do that many times. That's Tibetan humming breath. The yogic, we were just talking about different traditions, do the same thing, but they kind of almost block off the senses and put their fingers in their ears, like that's their thumbs in their ears, and they hum. They just do it in a slightly different way. But I just wanted to show you that it's the same idea. I prefer the humming breath.
I think it's nicer than this.
It's just over. And your voice, as I said, is oscillating. What you're also doing is beginning to oscillate all along the neural pathways, which is why you need to do it several times. So very wacky, kind of fairly weird.
Yeah. How many times should you do that?
10, 20, 30. My mum started doing it some years ago. She's a little bit hard of hearing, and she's made a big difference. And the other thing that Mum has are the tinctures, which are like singing bells, but they're little little things with leather. They go ding, and it has that oscillation, has the same, so she can do that herself. And she has found that has made a huge difference to her hearing, which I thought was quite interesting. So hands together at the heart centre, half salute to the sun. Soften, stretch up, really stretch your fingers. So even your fingers here, I think you've got the lungs on the little fingers, is it on the outside? And you just, then hands together, head upright. Soften the knees as you slide your hands down to the shins, breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, softening. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, press your feet down and rolling up to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders. Hands up. Come through center. Slide the hands down. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, softening. Breathing in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down, roll up to standing. Last time. Breathing in, hands up, stretch your fingers. Draw the energy down. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing in, softening. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in when you're ready, press your feet down and roll up to standing. hands up and just circle the wrists down and then just shake off, maybe circle them the other way and just shake your fingers. You can do this on the mat, you can do it standing, but just take your hands. This has health benefits, but you might not be able to do it very far. Just your hand will tell you naturally where to stop. So it's just opening out. It's doing like the same, when you stretch, when you go like this with your feet, this is doing the same on hands, but you've got your wrist aspect here as well. And then just the other side. It's not a particularly pleasant feel, I don't feel that. It's
No, it's not. No, I don't know. No, not really. It's good for you, I suppose.
and then just the feet is a nicer feeling.
Right, maybe go part of the way because of observation. Yeah.
And then just shake out. When people have carpal tunnel syndrome, what happens is that it's painful, but there's been a collapse of the space where the nerves go through. It's like pinching, and so just opening out can be useful. But also with the neck and the shoulders, what can happen is that tense, head forward, a whole variety of things, ultimately just slightly pinches somewhere on the nerves along here, and the blood flow is slightly restricted, and then that can start to show up in a variety of ways.
Heavy arm. That's what I've got at the moment.
So just lifting and rolling, almost placing your hand on the shoulder to support it, they're all tricks to try and just release. This hand out, just outside, again, just you can go the other head the opposite way. You can feel that. You don't have to go all this business, but you can just feel that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other side, just hand out. It's all destined. You can lift and roll your shoulder. I'm quite restricted, and just hold. I mean, sometimes you can go up that way, but you can just hold there a little bit and hold the other way and release. You can have an arm up and then just this goes on there. Just hold underneath there. Just you can feel different muscles just activating. This is the upper lymphatic system under the arms, by the way. And actually, you can massage under the arm, release. And one of my yoga teachers from India always said to me, it's very non-European, she said, if you have no deodorant at the end of the day and release, sniff onto your arms, and the side that is toxic will let you know from the neck, you'll smell it more on one side than the other. I'm not necessarily that, yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting because you can, so if you're...
Did you try it then?
I have tried it, 'cause I couldn't bear not to try it, but it is, it's like, oh, okay, just like, oh, I don't really want to be doing this. But
I
it's,
think I'd leave it be, you know, it's maybe not very nice for everyone else.
come to seated, come to, you stood up quite a lot. And the other thing, which I would, if you can bear to master it, and I think I've mentioned it before, neti pots, particularly for you, because you were obviously
Yes, you've got to do that.
prone or whatever. If you were unfortunate and your immune system was low, or if you're prone to it, you don't know, or if you, but there would be I'd be surprised if there weren't a residual anxiety potentially about anything in the future. And so one of the things that you can do is to physically do a neti pot with slightly saline water. Just have your feet out and just massage, because it's where mucus can form at the back here, that incubates for a couple of days before it then travels down through respiratory, up in the respiratory tract. If you don't really fancy that,
I'm going to try it now. But you said there was something else you would get, because it's bigger with S.
yes, gosh,
It's
it's a saline spray that you can get it from any chemist. That just goes up, it doesn't go around, but it's
Yeah.
easier. The other thing that you can do, depending on how evolved, or depending how you are, if you do the alternate nostril breathing, we did a little bit with
Yeah.
one finger, that's purifying one side, goes up there, and then you do the other side. And that can also act as an aid, but you do need to practice it every day
Yeah.
to strengthen the immune system. This little one's, this is either any one of those, but as Charlotte would say, she's in Bequia at the moment. Do you know where Bequia is? No, Phil didn't know. It's somewhere in the Caribbean.
Oh, it's a small island, isn't it? It's off somewhere else. Yeah.
I've seen some photographs that
Yeah.
Jan,
Yeah.
another friend of ours, another doctor, has posted up on social media, and it's just like, oh, stunningly beautiful. So you can do that because that also purifies that. But Charlotte had said that anything will start off in the upper respiratory tract, and if it's not stopped, then it can carry on. But immunity at the upper tract, just while I'm talking, and then we'll.
Sorry, it's just sitting like that.
Yeah.
I can't focus. Calm
That's right, we'll go off that straight away. Just is very beneficial. I mean, it is a massive help. Yes, it's just a massive help to, particularly if you're socialising with people and people inevitably have things. So it is a massive, massive help. Somewhere like Yoga Matters, if you look under their things like neti pots, if you get their neti pot buddy, it comes with a little spoonful of salt, but you don't have to buy salt. You just push it in to get the right saline. And I can always demo you because it is such a nice, important skill. And then just, I'm hearing what you're saying, Sue.
Yes,
So come
it's
to
just
on hands and knees.
I'm not doing something where I'm sitting, but just sitting is
So come
so
to.
uncomfortable for me. Sorry.
So come to puppy pose. Puppy pose is bottom up. Elbows can be on the floor or they can be off the floor. On the floor is easier. And your bottom can be, you'll find your best spot. So your bottom can be higher, can be lower, tummy in. So your lower abdominal muscles come in slightly towards the spine, 10 to 20% of your capacity. You gauge your perineum slightly even here for your core. If you're finding that your head's too low and you don't really want to come down that low this early in the morning, or at this time of the day I should say, you can make fists with your hands, rest your forehead on your fist, and that lessens the angle that your head's down. And that will somehow, it relieves my lower back more when I put my hands together as fists. But again, we're all different. So what suits one person won't necessarily suit another person. You're coming forward slightly, so it's a forward bend. It's calming for the nervous system. The chin into the chest is activating the vagus nerve, which is the anti-inflammatory response, which is what we want. Chin to chest also is very odd. If you take a breath in and out with your chin to your chest, you'll hold your breath out for longer. Whereas if you have your head upright, you don't quite so much. It's very weird. You're activating something. So hopefully this should feel nice on the lower back. This natural position is focusing the breath towards the back. It's bringing, you see, we're just stretching out between the vertebrae. And very gently think about coming up to all fours. Hands and knees. Bring your feet at your knees to hip width apart. And you can choose whether your feet are flat. So that's today's modern yogic stance, flat feet. Some people prefer their toes tucked under, that stabilises the back more. You don't have it quite so much in Charles, but it was originally in the original text that they, in some parts of yoga where they had it tucked under, so it's a very small point. Breathing in, dipping the back. Breathing out, rounding to check. Breathing in, dipping the back. And this time, as you round chin to chest, bring your bottom towards your heels, bend your elbows, and then almost with your head and back, just scoop through. Should be releasing on the back, coming back to normal. Dipping to look up. Looking up only optional. You can look at the floor if you want to. Rounding, chin to chest. Bring the bottom towards the heels. Soften the elbows and then scoop through. Tummy in, lower abdominal muscles in. Dipping the back, rounding. Chest, bottom towards the heels. This time, as you dip the back, breathing in, as you round, imagine someone's putting a magnet on the middle of your back, so you'll arch slightly differently, and then bring your bottom towards your heels. Bend the elbows, come through. And we'll just try that again, and you can decide which you prefer. Coming back to neutral, dipping the back. And as you round, imagine that magnet at the centre of your back, just lifting you up. Go higher as you would do, and then bring your bottom towards your fingers. Soften the elbows and scoop through. So classically in yoga, we always start the movement, initiate the movement at the base of the tailbone. But sometimes the magnet idea, just do that again, can give us a visualization which is slightly different. Come to knee and breathing in. Slide your hands to your knees, your thighs, kneel up, hands up, look up, head back to centre. Hands back down to the earth. Breathing in, dipping the back, rounding. Bring the bottom towards the heels as you slide the hands towards the thighs. Kneel up, hands up. Breathing out, bring the hands back down to the earth. Slide the hands out, dipping the back, and then rounding back. Bring the bottom towards the heels. And then keep your hands on the ground, come back to all fours, and just very gently wiping your tail, just gently waggle your bottom from side to side. Again, it provides movement at that lower abdominal level, very gentle movement, so it's anti-stagnation. And then come to centre to a neutral back, and sliding your left foot back, stretch out the left leg, really tuck the toes under, lower the left knee. I'm not going to do the arms at this stage because you'll open under your feet better if you're not engaging your arms up, sliding the right foot back because you're very strong in the core, tucking under the toes, just really stretching out on the right foot. Bring the knee back. Lift the left knee, just the left knee, a little bit, circle the left ankle, You're just putting your back into a slightly different position. Circle the left ankle the other way. And lower the left knee. Just slightly waggle your bottom from side to side. And then leading with the right knee, just lift the right knee slightly behind you. Circle the right ankle one way. You're looking down at the floor. And then circle the right ankle in the other direction. And then lower the right knee. So this is entirely up to, only go as far as you are able to. Just slide your left leg forward, slide the right leg back. You'll find this opening at the right hip, so you can lift up. You can adjust your hands out further. You can lift them up. You can sink down further. It's not a pigeon, it's like a half pigeon. You're opening the right hip here, and you can stay like this, or you can tummy in, lower abdominal muscles in slightly, lead with the chest and walk forward a little bit. Perhaps make fists with your hands to come forward. If that's too much, come back to being upright. Once you're down, you can just slightly sway from side to side. If you want to add an additional hip opener here, you can move your left knee to the left a little bit, which is starting to come into a pigeon-esque type vibe. It's harder. And then sliding your hands back to come back to where you were. If you've moved your left knee out, then move back to the centre. We're going to come to the other side, and you can either come straight to the other side, or you can come to slide your knees forward. Before you slide the other one back, the left foot back, you can come to a downward dog as an option. So I know that's not going to be for everybody, but coming into a downward dog. Remember in downward dog that your feet can be wider apart and they can be closer to your hands. There's an option to walk the dog by bending one knee and then the other. Tummy in, extend both legs, your heels don't have to touch the ground. You're lifting your bottom and extending your back, tummy in, and then both knees back down and sliding the right knee forward, left leg back, coming to the right side. You can stay upright, your right knee can go to the right a little bit. Just choose to what's comfortable. You can tuck your left toes under or have them flat. Again, it's entirely up to you. Iyengar, who is some guru, founded a lot of traditions, and he had breathing difficulties from a child, and the pigeon opened like the pigeon breast would open his chest up because it's like a back bend, and he used to do this for his breathing. It is a brilliant hip opener. And then of course I can't do this. If you're particularly into doing full pigeon, you can take hold of your, I'm going to give myself a cramp, take hold of your foot, well done, and you can even do it further, just that I find you can come up and just, I can't do it, go like that, and hold hands. But if you'd like to try, please do. And then stretching out. And then just coming back with your knees. And come to quarter dog, stretching out one side. It doesn't matter if you've gone for one way. I'm stretching out my left arm, my right arm across me. I'm resting my forehead on my bent right forearm. I've got my toes tucked under, but you can have them flat. Bottom slightly up in the air. If you want to stretch the left side more, bring your outstretched arm slightly to the centre. Done it with the right side and do it with the right side. quarter pigeon, a quarter dog, it's slightly inverting the body, slightly, but it's helpful for the hormonal system, the endocrine system. Your elbow can be bent or straight, and rest on the ground, be off the ground. And then just very gently reverse so that your other arm is extended out. In my case, my left arm is across me and resting my forehead. You can bring your right hand more, or your extended hand more towards the centre, that's an option too. And then just sliding to come up. Come to a seated position, with your legs in a V apart. We've not done this for a while, there are variations here. So just connect your hands to the ground, that's to lift you up, tummy in. Lead with your left elbow, just slide your hand, right hand down the leg. You can hold where you're comfortable. There is a position where you can hold the outside of your foot and just go across to hold your toe. But you'll note, if you can see me, that actually I'm not doing this correctly. I'm not stretching my left side, I need to be more open. And to be more open, I need to not come forward so much to get that stretch here. So I probably should stay like that rather than just sink down and then coming up. It's a slightly different opening. Does that make sense? If I try and I find it very easy to do that, but you'll see that I'm collapsing forward. So I need to be open, and in opening, I'm giving myself, I'm not coming forward so far to retain the integrity of the pose. So it's lovely to go down, but you can see I'm beginning to collapse because I really need to be open. And you feel for lungs, it's open is good, and then just coming up, and then just sliding your hands down. So you can lead with your chest. If you've got lower back problems, then you don't want to come forward too much particularly. If you lead with your chest, you restrict how far you come forward, just relax your head. And it should be easier. Just checking in with you, is that the case? You come forward less.
I can't come forward very much anyway, so.
Yeah. So if you extend one heel and then the other, you will feel your legs engage, or inner leg muscles engage. That muscle running along the inside of the legs on a psychological level can often link in, it often switches off in women, and it often links to the element of fear. It kind of connects up, I don't know where it goes. But anyway, just extending your heels can make sure that you're switching muscles on. And you can just feel, if you tense your knees, come up, if you tense your knees, are the outside muscles connecting? Because sometimes in our posture we don't activate the muscles, trauma or fall, and they can kind of go off a little bit. So again, quite interesting. Tensing the knees are your muscles being activated. And then coming to bend your knees, coming to hold your shins, and this might be as far as you want to go. It's a core focus now. Tummy in, back is straight. You can, of course, go the next stage, which is lifting the toes off. You can hold underneath your knees, under the legs. You can stay like that and come forward. If you want to have a fun time, you can hold your toes. There's a big tendency for people to rock backwards. And that is quite, if you can get there, that's quite nice.
My little ones won't need.
But it's only anatomy. It is only anatomy.
I've got short arms.
If you've got it, but as I said, it's nothing to do with ability, it's just simply, what's the word, anatomy. And then just soften the knees in and bring the feet onto the ground and just come forward slightly. And then come to the ground, lying on your back, knees up, feet hip width apart. Palms down. Just free up your neck by turning your head to one side. Chin is always slightly down. Come back to the centre and just let the head turn to the other side. Chin is slightly down. Bring the head back to the centre. There's a sense of just how heavy the head is. So if you are bringing your head forward and it's not supported on your neck properly, and that's a very basic description, the amount of extra work that your neck is doing to try and hold the head is phenomenal, because it's really trying to hold everything in. So you can imagine then the stiffness that might occur if the head being held in tenseness for hours at a time. Palms down alongside you and just very, very gently flatten the back, the nearest pelvic tilt. So osteopaths, not necessarily all, but certainly some, will use this from yoga as part of a remedial exercise for people who've had major back wipeouts. It just very gently begins to bring movement into the lower back area. And why it's so iconic is ground is supporting your back. Top and bottom, you're just getting a little tiny bit of movement around that area of your lumbar vertebra that does all the hard movement, twisting movement, and that can pick up so much strain, and that's mainly the L4 and L5 vertebra, just around that area. And then coming to neutral, and breathing in, raise your right arm, stretch it up behind you. As you breathe out, turn your head to the left. You might want to stay here for an in and an out breath. Your elbow can be bent slightly, or it can be stretched, whatever works for you. And when you're ready and you next breathe in, bring the head back to the centre. And then when you are ready and next breathe out, just lower the right arm back down alongside you. And then as you breathe in, raise your left arm and just relax the left arm behind you. Your back of your hand might connect to the floor. And as you next breathe out, turn your head to the right. Chin is slightly in. Keep your hand where it is. You might take an in and an out breath here. And then when you next breathe out, breathe in, bring your head back to the centre. And then as you next breathe out, when you're ready, lower the left arm. Once more to each side on your own time. Breathing in, raising the arm. It's the right arm. Breathing out, turning the head to the left. Staying here. As you breathe in between times, you might want to stretch your arm a little bit and relax it. Feet under the arm, stretching out the under the arm and connect the lymph nodes and the lymphatic system. When you're ready, bring your head back to the centre, and again, when you're ready, just lower the arm to the other side when you're ready. Raising, turn the head to the side. raise both hands, clasp them, and then just slide your hands onto the back of your head. So as the backs of your palms are cradling your skull. If that's too much to open out your elbows like butterfly wings under the arms, it is quite a big pull, then just bring your elbows slightly closer together. And as you breathe out, flatten your back to the ground and just lift your head. You're only going to lift it a few millimetres off the ground. Your elbows may again come together. Tummy in, lower abdominal muscles in, perineum engages. And then when you're ready, you breathe out, just relax back down to the ground. You're still holding your head, only opening your elbows as much as you feel comfortable to do so. And recover. And then when you next breathe out, flatten your back to the ground again and just slightly lift up. If your tummy starts to round or dome, then you've gone too far. And then just release. Still with your hands clasped underneath your head, just cradle, you might turn your hands the other way so that your fingertips are at the base of the skull. And just with your fingertips, almost like holding a bowling ball, just wrap your fingers underneath I think it's the occiput. You just very gently pull, your head might lift off the ground, just use your fingers just to pull. It will create a tiny space at the top of the neck and at the base of the skull. It stretches the neck out. So in Ayurveda, that is really helpful, and as you just slightly cradle your head, you're lifting it off the ground just with your fingers in, they're facing down, the palms of your hands are on top of the head, towards the top of the head. You're pulling, you can just very, very gently turn your head a millimetre or two from left to right. You're almost balancing your skull, your left and your right brain hemispheres. You're holding your head while you're doing it. Come back to the centre, just pull again slightly, and then release the head back down to the ground. Still have your hands on the back of the head. Palms and the heels of the hands might be to either side of the head. And then just very gently let the fingers come out from underneath the head, just the head back down. Have a sense of a slightly different perspective of your skull. And then just very, very gently put the heels of the hands on the temples so it's like a dent. Just very gently press and release. Press the heels of the hands into that dent, most of the temples and above. And then press and release. And then release the hands back down alongside you. Just sway the knees slightly from side to side. Bringing the knees back to centre. Make any adjustments for your feet to feel comfortable. And then hug your left knee into the chest. Your right knee can be bent, right foot on the floor. And it can take a while for the body to start to settle. You can just help that by circling your left knee or making a square with your left knee, still holding it a few times in one direction. Check that your chin stays, it shoots up to the ceiling, that's not great, just make sure that it's relaxed. Circling your knee with your hands. And your circle can be quite small, or you can start to make it larger. Every or each body part is supposed to reflect a psychological aspect of ourselves, and the hips, just move your hip, left hip and in the opposite direction, are supposed to represent where we see ourselves going forward in life. And often, yes, where we're going forward to. Just freeing off the lower back, freeing off the hip, And then hugging the left knee into the chest again, drop your hands, hold underneath the left thigh. I'm clasping my hands, and just very gently raise the left foot to the ceiling. Extend the left heel and point the left toe, big toe in the opposite direction. Don't put any, just lightly so that you're not going to give yourself a cramp. Just extend the left heel and then just very gently release and relax the foot. Only go the other way if you're not going to get a cramp. Just do the same again. And then use your hands to massage almost the back of your left thigh, just like a waterfall effect, massaging at the back of that left thigh. If you want to bend your left knee in a bit more, you can massage also your left calf and all the way up to the left thigh. You can massage the front of your leg if you want to, but your hands are supporting the left leg. And then bending the left knee into the chest. Open the knee to the left and place the left ankle on the right thigh. Palms can either rest on the tummy, the abdomen, or hand palms down. And then just very gently sway your knees from side to side. How much you sway is up to you. You might like to sway a little bit, you might like to sway a lot. Your hip will inevitably lift off the ground as you sway. So this is an upside down pigeon. It's called a figure of four. Looks at the piriformis muscle, which is on the outside of the hip. Can be implicated in lower back issues if it contracts. It's quite a powerful little muscle. Then very gently hug the left knee into the chest. Just enjoy that hugging in. Very gently, as you next breathe out, supporting the left leg to place the left foot on the floor. Palms either down or resting on the abdomen, just sway the knees from side to side. And adjust your left foot to be comfortable as you pick up your right foot and hug your right knee into the chest. Enjoying. The body takes a while to start to release and let go of tension, tight muscles. So in your own time, start to circle or square your right knee in one direction, making circles or squares, or something in between. You can start small and circle up to large, and back again, and just move how it works for you. And then start to circle the knee in the opposite direction. And then coming back to the centre, drop your hands underneath your right thigh, clasping them perhaps as you very gently extend your right foot up to the ceiling. Keep a bend in the knee by all means. And just extend the right heel. You can either point the right toes or just relax them. Maybe circle the ankle a couple of times, one way and then the other. And then start to massage your hands behind the back of the right leg. This is almost like dry skin brushing. It's boosting the circulation.
If you want to bend your right knee a bit more, you can include the calf, to that up to the back of the knee and beyond. It's impossible to separate everything. You think, oh, the hips are there, down below, but actually they link into the breathing mechanism, everything is connected. So the lower part of our body is what forms our physical foundation. So if that's out, and everything sort of collapses, because if you're not standing straight or you're not standing supported, then your body, your top of your body will sink down, and then that compromises your breathing. You breathe less optimally. And then just supporting the right knee, right leg as you open the right knee to the right, resting the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Arms can be resting on the abdomen or on the floor. Just start to sway both knees a little bit from side to side. And your sway can be minimal, or it can be right down to almost the ground. You can go at your own pace. You're also opening your inner thigh, which is part of your lower lymphatic system, one side at a time. And then come to the centre. Hug your right knee into your chest, have it slightly to the right, hug your left knee into your chest, have it slightly to the left. And then just rock from side to side. And again, you can rock minimally, or you can rock right over onto the side, rocking over the back of the head. You're massaging across the acupressure points, back of the head. I'm pretty sure you're connected at the top of the bottom. You've got a major acupressure point there. I'm pretty certain you've got a few acupressure points along the way. When you connect with the earth like this, it becomes quite a sensory movement. It's a grounding movement, and it takes the focus away from the mind, which can be very active. So it's not always easy when you're trying to get to sleep to do this particularly, because you'll disturb all the bedding, but it can be again, quite a grounding action. And the other grounding, if your mind is jumping, is to hold your feet. But then, Sue, I was thinking, if you're holding your feet, the feet and the hands are the same, so can you hold your hands and have a grounding action as well? So I know holding the feet is very grounding, it brings the energy away from the brain. I've got a feeling the hands might be the same, you know?
Yeah.
So it disturbs the energy. People have epileptic fits. In Ayurveda, they ask you to hold their feet to bring the energy away from their heads. And actually one of Jamie's friends had an epileptic fit, and I did that. I held his feet and it brought him round, it calmed his system down, which I thought was quite interesting. And the brain flips out, and that's an extreme case. And then hugging both knees into the chest, that's very familiar. Let both knees drift to arm's length. I'm going to leave it to you as to whether you want a core focus, in which case you only lightly connect your fingertips to the knees and let your abdominal muscles do the work. Tummy comes slightly naturally in, your perineum slightly naturally engages. Or if you want more of a comforting movement, which is slightly non-yogic, just hug in. But all yoga is supposed to strengthen, you're supposed to engage slightly to strengthen your core throughout. The core is so key in Eastern medicine for your whole body, your whole inner strength is your core. It's called Hara, just below your navel in Ayurveda. Indian yogic, the yogic world, and in the Chinese world it's called a dantian. It's the same spot just below the navel. Lying flat on the floor and being supported, the blood is being almost pulsed along the spine, and you can start to feel it in the head. There's that very fine balance. If you ask someone to lie on the floor for too long, they get stiff and uncomfortable, so everything has its optimal time. And then just very, very gently support under your legs to release your feet back down to the ground. And you can either stay with your knees bent, in which case you might like your feet wider than hip width apart, and your knees rest together in what's called a constructive rest. Or you just can lay out on the floor in Shavasana. Your hands can be upright and slightly away from you, palms upright and away from you. That's classic Shavasana. Or if you want to rest them on your abdomen, that's fine too. That can be quite comforting. So just find a comfortable position, just relax, which means letting your muscles relax into the ground so that your body feels heavy on the mat. And very lightly bring your attention to your feet and relax them. The tops of the feet, relax. The soles of the feet. The toes. Big toes, second toes, third, fourth, little toes, and the space beyond the toes are relaxed. Moving along the tops of the feet and the soles of the feet to the heels, relax the ankles, shins and calves, the knees and the backs of the knees, and moving up to the thighs and the backs of the thighs, to the hips and the pelvis, relaxed and heavy on the ground. And following along the front of the body, the lower abdominal area, and moving slowly up towards the internal organs, and up towards the rib cage, the chest, the heart. And just feel as you travel upwards that your shoulders broaden and relax into the ground as they open out. And move your focus down the upper arms to the elbows, inside the elbows, backs of the elbows, and along both forearms, reaching the wrists, the hands, the backs of the hands, the palms, the fingers, the thumbs, second fingers, third, fourth, little fingers, and the space beyond the fingers. Bring your attention to your lower back and follow along the vertebra, the lower along the vertebra, all the way up, from the thoracic to the back of the shoulders, space between the shoulders. The shoulders themselves are relaxed away from the ears, following up to the neck, back of the neck. Back of the head, the space between the ears, along the back of the head to the crown of the head, and across the crown of the head to the forehead. Just mentally smooth across the forehead, and down the outsides of the face, to the jawbone, behind the ears, and tracing along to the throat, the chin to the throat, back up to the chin, the lower lip, the upper lip, teeth, under the nose.
moving up to relax the eyes. And then just let your attention settle back down to under the nostrils. And as you breathe in, notice the breath is slightly cool as you breathe in and slightly warm as you breathe out. And if you're very subtle with your breath, you'll notice where in the nostril you breathe. Is it the outside of the nostril? Is it the inner part of the nostril nearest to the nose, the centre of the face? Is it in between? In Chinese medicine, you can, Ayurveda too, if you're very refined, you can connect to imbalances in the body as to where you breathe. The breath should always be smooth. Japanese warriors measure part of their fitness on, after exertion, how smooth their breath was. People who are very ill, well, often their breath can be quite ragged. If you just have to think about getting a cold or not feeling great, your breath can often, if you're stressed or angry too, or upset, your breath can be ragged. It's the bridge, the breath, between the physical and the emotional bodies. And so as you breathe in through the nose, imagine the breath now is travelling to a point that you imagine to be in the centre of your head. And as you breathe out, your out-breath gathers up and takes of it anything that's not serving you today, any tension, any niggle, any pain, any thought. And it takes it all the way down the body like an internal shower, sprinkling and cleaning as it goes all the way down, and it leads through the soles of the feet, going down back to the earth. And again, as you breathe in next time, focus at the base of the nostrils and mentally watch the breath coming in, and in your imagination bring it to the centre of the head. And when you're ready to breathe out, imagine that breath swirling and cleansing as it goes from the top of the head, going all the way down the body, picking up anything that's not great, you want to discard today, and just releasing it, letting go. Again through the soles of the feet. And again, we're bringing the nose focused at the centre of the body, and breathing out. Just letting it release through the soles of the feet. Again, releasing the breath. And now just let a colour float into your mind. It doesn't matter what colour it is, colour that you resonate with today. And as you breathe in, you colour your breath. It's a translucent form of the colour you've chosen. And once again, as you breathe out, you sprinkle that coloured air all the way down inside you. It infuses and just floats down and floats out through the base of the feet. And as you breathe out again, the air, coloured air, diffuses in both inside and out. It just floats all the way around you. You're bathed inside and out in your coloured light, which you'll take through with you for the rest of the day. It confers protection on you. And while you've got your lovely coloured air swirling around you, just have a thought for the day. And think that a couple of times, your Sankalpa. And then let that thought drift away, knowing that your intention has been sent out to the universe. Notice, release all your thoughts, release your focus on your breath. And begin to just make tiny movements, which might include having your knees back into your chest, to rock from side to side, just to ease off any little tension that might have accumulated while we were lying on the ground. And you might want to circle the knees, both of them in one direction. And you might want to circle the knees in the opposite direction. You might want to rock very gently from side to side. then when you're ready, come in your own time to a seated position. So yogically you're moving to the right away from the direct from your heart and then coming up. Or you might want to sit up normally. I've got space to float. And seated in a comfortable position. Just want to finish off on the opening Reiki position. Just bring your hands to the side of the head, thumbs behind. You'll naturally hold your head slightly down. So Reiki also has self-healing Reiki. You can give Reiki to yourself. So Reiki starts here, whether you're having a treatment or whether you're giving yourself Reiki, it's starting here to the side of the head. And in a Reiki treatment, you would stay here for about 5 minutes, just connecting to your energies. And then it doesn't matter which hand you take, but one hand goes to the back of the head and the other hand goes to the forehead. So you'll naturally still be looking down. Your eyes can be open and closed. And just very gently press the back of your hand into the back of the head and press your front hand slightly into the forehead. So it's a very soft cradling of your head. Although your head is forward here, you're stretching the back of the neck, which is helpful. Your chin is to your chest. It's calming for the nervous system and it's connecting into the vagus nerve. And then keeping the hand at the forehead, take the hand that's at the back of your head. You're now going to start lifting your head up naturally and take the band from the back of the head to your chest. You'll find yourself probably a little bit more upright. And almost your hand gives you a support to the head that it doesn't kind of sink forward. It invites you to lift at the chest a little bit more. And your hand on the forehead is connecting to the third eye, center of intuition, your pineal and your pituitary gland, so part of your master metabolic control here. And then keep your hand at the heart, or the chest level, and take the hand at the forehead to the navel. And again, if you just connect your hands, you'll find yourself sitting up a little bit more. Your head can perhaps come up, or it can just be comfortable. And imagine a cord, can be silver or gold, and it links your navel to your chest. So in terms of posture, again, you should be perfectly aligned, or we should be perfectly aligned. The connection between the heart and the tummy, the gut, the gut has an emotional system. It links to the brain, of course, but it has an emotional system that connects through to the heart, connects to emotions, as does our gut. And then once more, think of your colour that you chose, and almost like candy floss or cotton wool, wrap your body inside and out with your coloured cotton wool or candy floss for the day ahead. And there are many ways to do this, many ways, but if ever you're worried about somebody, you can mentally put them in a bubble and wrap them with almost like a bubble of protection. It can be a colour of your choice, it can be a number of things, but you just wrap them in a bubble and wish them
your protection or wish them well for the day ahead, or wish them whatever if they're going on a journey. And then just gently bring your chin to your chest for you, taking a bow for yourself. And then just drop your hands, have your hands on your lap, coming up to seated position. And bring attention to breathing in at the nostrils, breathing out through the nostrils. And then just move your attention up to your third eye and imagine breathing in and out through your third eye, so pineal and pituitary glands. Your metabolic control focus regularized as you breathe in and breathe out. And then just let that thought go. Chin to chest. Once more. Thought for you, bow for yourself.